Alright guys, this is Bezmor again, and if you saw one of the previous videos about the 1v1 tournament, this is the Cleric who won round 2. She's pretty good, and afterwards they did like a champions match, I guess, which was round 1 winner versus round 2, so that was me versus her, and this is a very long and boring fight. I'm warning you in advance, like, I'm gonna run out of things to say, I'm guaranteed, but as you can see here, this is an extremely high defensive build Cleric, the full rank 9 with the rank 8 weapon, and the rank 8 weapon is like 20 plus defense levels, so I mean, and then all her rank 9 is Jades of Steady Defense plus 11 or 12, I think. And then the cape is Jades, and as you can see, she had level 16 cube necklace physical. So it's mad defense, and I didn't catch it, but I mean, she has a physical ring and a magical ring, you know, for both defenses. So I mean, it's a very defensive build, and I mean, between the fact that a cleric can stack heals, and you know, they can stack heals to absorb your DD, and at the same time, when you go to full DD mode, they can just sleep you or Seal of the God. And so I mean, like, in order to kill them, you have to burn like all their cooldowns and then go offense mode and still have like enough left over to like go through with it. And I mean, when you're going up against the cleric, you have to watch out. I mean, she was stacking like anti-heal up to 10 times, like up to like 10k on me or something like that, and then she would keep going for kill combos. And as you can see, she switched to the rank 9 weapon, which is, you know, plus 12 sapphires, I think, you know, for the extra DD, but flat out, we were both just playing, like, insanely defensively. As you can see, I'm still in white voodoo. I'm just trying to get my chi up and get everything ready to try and go for a kill combo, and I think I ended up switching genies midway through this fight, but bottom line, like, killing a cleric that is gonna play like this it's like trying to kill a Sage tank barb almost, you know, because I mean, as Arcane, they have the amped magical defense, and at the same time, their self buffs make them extremely good. Like we were all these 1v1s were self buff only, and the cleric's self buffs increase physical and magical and magic attack. So like they're getting like every kind of buff except for HP. And psychic self buffs give you nothing except voodoos, and seals. But I mean, you know, it's really very kind of stacked in that sense. But as far as tanking it goes, the things you really have to watch out for is if they do the metal mode anti-heal stacking stuff, then you need to watch out, because if they get a nice combo or something on that spark debuff thing, like, it'll hurt really bad. So you can see I burned my AD right there, because like when they spark, you do not want them hitting you. Like, that is just, you don't want it. Their spark plume shell can do plume shot can do a lot of damage because it's physical, and you can physically immune it, but then they'll just switch to metal damage if they're smart, and then that can still hurt when they're sparked, especially if you're in black voodoo. I mean, staying in white, you can kind of tank it all if you play it really defensively. And as far as going on offense against the cleric, the thing you have to watch out for is, as you can see here, I went for the normal stun combo. I switched Tide Spirit, switched Blessing. She windshielded, which, I mean, 2.2, 1.8. I mean, as you can see, the damage is really low, and then my stun failed. So I immediately didn't want to risk getting caught in black, because that's what clerics are really annoying. They will wait for you to switch to black, and then they will sleep you or seal you. As you can see, I got slept now, and I think there is the movement debuff, and she got sealed. Yeah, I mean, this fight, it pretty much went on like this for 20 minutes. But as you can see, like, every time, you know, she gets a chance, she, you know, stacking the IH basically. So I mean, I have to keep diminished figure on her, because if I'm trying to out DD Demon IH from, you know, that much magic attack, it's not gonna work very well. I mean, and considering that you know, her defense level is probably, I don't know, full rank 9 with a lot of Jades, you know, it's probably over 60. So I mean, you know, it's really tough. And I mean, on this genie, the only thing I can really do is try to use Cloud Erupt to out-chi her as a demon. But I mean, I just don't have the damage, as you can see, even with Tide Spirit, like, that works on all the physical, I mean, like the melee, like heavy armor, light armor classes, because their magic defense is crap. But when you come up against another Arcane, you have to have some kind of method for beating somebody who has actual good magic defense, which is why it's kind of interesting to fight against wizards, clerics, mystics, and other psychics. You know, it's a whole new game, to be honest. And you know, psychics kind of got screwed in that sense because all we have is Soulburn. Like, okay, wizards have BT, and so if you get them down to half HP, and then you go for like critting a Blade Tempest on other arcanes, that will usually do it. And if you combine like Spark or something, like Undying Strike and Spark, you know, clerics have the physical damage on Plume Shot, which is, you know, it's really unfair. If you outgear your opponents on a cleric, you can just on arcane classes you can spam Plume Shot and do massive damage. Especially the demons one with the short channeling time, you can like spam it and it really will hurt. Mystics have Thicket and Pets, and Absorb Soul is the nastiest thing. And so yeah, all the other classes kind of got some alternate method of dealing with other arcanes, whether it be BT, Plume Shot, or the Mystic, you know, Absorb Soul, whatever. Psychics literally didn't get anything, and this is where I switched to my Belief Genie, because I realized that trying to use my normal Genie wasn't going to work as effectively as I had hoped. So I switched to Belief because it can break out of the sleep. So I figured if I go fully offensive and let her sleep me, I'll burn her sleep cooldown and a little bit of her chi, and then I'll be able to come out of it and immediately continue attacking. So that was my plan here. And I came in with a stun. I don't really know why, I can't tell you. But yeah, as a psychic, the only thing you have against other arcanes is Soulburn. The problem with Soulburn is that if you're fighting a wizard who's not like massive channeling or something, their skills are still kind of slow, and if they've got defense like this cleric's, it wouldn't make a difference. And you know, if they're doing something like IH stacking, even when Soulburned, like this cleric's unbuffed HP I think is like 12k-ish. And 12k means, you know, the Soulburn can tick a few times, and by the time she's IH stacked 3 times, you know, she's already covered the difference. So Soulburn doesn't really work end game as well as you would like against non-APS classes. It does work in some situations. It's nice against Jade builds sometimes because I mean, they don't have as much physical defense as something like, let's say, Garnet Gems. But I mean, endgame, it really, it only works in like support role-ish, kind of. Unless it's a psychic. You can abuse it against enemy psychics when they're in Black Voodoo or something like that. It's really messed up. But yeah, so I mean, Cleric is actually one of the best classes to fight against the psychic as, and as you can see, I just believed out of that and went Black Voodoo, and here I was going for some kind of damage, but as you can see, my damage is just pathetic. But she went for Seal of the God right there, which is the Cleric 100 skill, and it's really a pain because it just resets the fight pretty much. I mean, it's 15 seconds, you can't do anything to stop it. I think, well, actually, I take that back, there might be 1 or 2 things, but you can't purify it in any way, and I mean, they can't kill you while you're in it, unless you were at like 2 HP when they used it. So, as you can see there, I got a 6k crit, so you know, the damage is there. And the restun, see, she was going for the sleep there, and she had the AD. So as you can see, like, the damage is there, if you can get it all together. And here I thought I was pretty much screwed because she caught me in black. But then switching to Metal Mage, I don't know, the whole Metal mode, I haven't seen it to be that effective yet. I've seen it happening in group PK. They'll have one of like 2 or 3 clerics. They'll set one in that just to do a few assist type of things, but really the Cleric Metal Mage mode has, in my opinion, was really not that, it's not that great. I mean, the heal stacking, as you can see, I have 10.3k worth of heals blocked, but I just cleared half of it with the Charm Tick, and then Crab Meeting and using Bubble of Life will pretty much wipe it out pretty quickly. So yeah, I mean, when you see them heal stack, just throw down a crap ton of heals, and as you can see, I was close there, but the Charm Tick, I wasn't able to beat it because I didn't have Diminished Vigor on. So yeah, I hope you guys aren't looking forward to a fun ending, because this match we did call a draw after about 20 minutes of fighting. Her Windows update activated, and she DC'd, and then we just said, yeah, I think it's about time to call it a draw. But bottom line, in a situation like this, the Cleric does not have a Purge skill. So basically, in the end, if the Cleric doesn't have the DD to kill me in White Voodoo, obviously I can make the fight draw just by never trying to kill her by going into black. And I mean, the same thing if I can't kill her even in black, as long as she's, you know, using everything correctly, like heals and Genie, then, you know, it's gonna be a draw. And that's what makes clerics very annoying. In 1v1s, it really is a broken class, because you have to, you know, when they're built like a tank, like this cleric is, then overcoming both the heals and their charm and their apoth and their Genie and their potions, it's so much. And I mean, I think I'm an optimist in PW. I mean, I think, you know, there's always a way to win, but bottom line, it's really hard in certain situations. And in group PK, the thing about a build like this on the cleric is that, you know, it's not a cleric that you can just send your Sin to go wipe and then like, you know, have them come back and assist. Like, this cleric doesn't just die. It's you know, one does not simply kill a tank cleric. Even like, I've seen lots of clerics on the server that copied the gear of this one, and like, you know, even though they're not as good per se, like they still aren't easy to kill. I mean, it's just a tough build to play against. So, you know, they're really great in the support role because they'll just keep healing and purifying and doing stuff like that, and then when the Sins pop on them, you know, they'll have to kite out of the Sin, and then they'll come back a few seconds later when the Sin gives up. So yeah, when it comes to actually killing them, my advice would be you need to have everything, you know, everything available to you, and you have, I mean, it depends on your Genie build, really, how you're going to go about killing it. I'm using the Belief Genie right now to cancel out her ability to sleep me, and as you can see, I caught her in Metal Mage mode right here, which is really convenient for me, but you need to have everything, because you have to have a way to deal with their sleep. That's the number one thing, because if they sleep you, your kill combo is broken, and you might get caught in Black Voodoo, which is even worse, alright? So that means you need Vac Powder or Belief on your Genie. Or, there's another one, Adrenaline, whatever. There's an anti-sleep Genie skill, but that one's a gamble, because if you time it off or they see it coming, you're screwed. Secondly, Diminished Vigor is going to be required, because just overcoming their Arcane defense combined with their defense levels from the Jades and the heals, like, you gotta reduce the amount the heals are doing, and you gotta make that charm tick a lot slower. So those are two things. If you have the chi for it, throwing a Soul Burn on top of your DD combo will make it harder for them to heal. It will, like, if they're Wellspring spamming to try and compensate for your direct DD, if you don't have them stunned and they can't sleep you, then Soul Burn is beneficial, because it'll basically keep it from topping them off. But that's only if you have chi, and what I found is that you usually don't have enough chi, because to kill these people you need to usually use both Tide Spirit and Vector and or Spark, which means you have no chi left over. And of course you have to set up all of that, meaning your Apoth, your Genie, and all your skills cooldown and ready, after they've burned Seal of the God, because if you get sealed, then, well, you know, same thing as sleep, your kill combo just died, and Belief will not purify that one off of you. So as you can see there, the Soul Burn is ticking 2Ks, and it didn't really bother her, because once she stacked one IH, it was plenty, and she was even just buffing herself up and eating the Soul Burn, and it didn't even, like, tick her charm, because the IH stacking that she had done, you know, when you have that much magic attack and that much defense on your gear, Soul Burn really is a non-factor. So yeah, I guess that would be my comments. Of course, switching to the Jones would be helpful. Things you could do, I guess, to actually assist yourself is have more offensive gear. Like, ideally, if I was made of money or I robbed a casino or something like that, I would make a Nirvana hat and cape for DD mode, shard it with diamonds, because, you know, if you have Nirvana hat and cape, both 4 sockets, and you shard it full Diamond of Tigers, and you put that on your Psychic in combination with rank 9, you're gaining like 13 attack levels, 2% crit, and 20 magic, and that's a pretty nice chunk of increased offensive capabilities, whereas in my defensive build, you know, I'm gaining like 2,000, 3,000, 2,000-ish physical defense from my hat and cape, whereas if I had that gear I would be switching it all to offense mode, and then bottom line, that would be trying to turn myself into one of those Diamond of Tiger wizards, you know, that just, it hurts when they hit you. and of course getting the extra 2% crit, like, you know, full rank 9 psychics, even Sage can have nasty crit rate, if you you know, get the right gear and stuff. I mean, when I'm in my rank 8 ring with the base buff, I think I'm at 22% crit. So I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff you can do to increase your offensive power, but as a Sage Psychic, I mean, that's one thing you could try to do if you find yourself coming up against opponents like this. You're gonna need a lot more offensive power, and you can't use magic attack charms because you're using the rank 9 weapon. Yeah, one thing that I heard her say, I think after the fight, was that she was trying to burn my Purify cooldowns, which I guess is actually pretty problematic because, as you can see, she's doing the normal, you know, Cleric debuff stuff. But when I use my Purifies, then, you know, the magic debuff and all that, you know, it disappears. And so what she was doing was she was sleeping me, going into metal mode, stacking all the anti-heals, sealing of the God me, so that, you know, I couldn't do anything. And then as soon as that seal of the God wore off, she was going for the kill. But right there, you see, I psychic willed, so I purified her debuffs. I became immune to that, and then I could tank her her metal damage by using metal charms. And as you can see, she almost got me right there, but my seal procced, and then I was fine, because the anti-heals made it so my charm wouldn't tick, and then I had to clear the anti-heals by using all my pots and stuff. But bottom line, that was like, you know, I don't think she could have done that much better. I can't think of a better kill combo than that. And as you can see, I tried to flip it around on her and go immediately for a kill here, and I got kind of close, but that Wellspring screwed me over right there. I would have had her, I think. Anyways, so as you can see, I mean, it is capable, but she has to burn everything she has, and then I have to burn everything I have, and then the battle resets if we both fail. It's really just a matter of gambling, and as you can see, I went straight back to white because, well, you know, I didn't want to lose. But yeah, so I mean, that's one strategy. As you can see there, I mean, we were talking after the fight, and it's like we're both like, yeah, pretty much, you know, whoever tries to go for the kill is screwed, because once you try, if you fail, which you most likely will, coming back from that fail is going to be pretty rough. So yeah, I mean, clerics are stacked, and like if you have end game gear on a cleric, killing it becomes a pain, especially if they have the right genie and they abuse it correctly. So yeah, I don't have much else to say except that there will be some more videos coming up next week, ideally. So yeah, I mean, there are still a few minutes in this, so I guess I should address, people have been PMing me asking, you know, various things. Somebody asked me if I would make a video on mystics, but bottom line, there are no mystics who PK on my server. Yeah, pretty much, basically. I mean, there's like 1 or 2 in that one guild that is like, they just have a bunch of everything, but yeah, I haven't found any mystics who are like, you know, the fight would last more than 1 minute, really. Actually, there was one, but I don't know, I haven't seen her in quite some time. So, sorry, I can't really make a Mystic video. The other thing, somebody PM'd me asking for a how to solo FF on a Psychic video. I tried to make it, and then it was too long. And as you can see, I almost got the kill there, but she sparked FML. And as you can see, she even went in for the Fortify Iron Guard. So here I had to watch out because she sparked and Iron Guarded, meaning I can't stop her in any way. So had to be very careful. But yeah, back to what I was saying, making the solo FF vid, it just takes too long. But if there's any part of it that you like have trouble with, like specifically, like I don't know how to do the big room, or I don't know how to do this boss or that boss, I'll tell you right now that soloing the second boss non-glitch is really, don't do it. It's lame. Even in good gear, it's lame. But other than that boss and the Purge boss, there's really nothing complicated about soloing FF. So yeah, that's that, and we're getting close to the part of the video where her Windows update ran and she just kind of stopped moving. So I'm gonna stop rambling whenever that happens. But yeah, I mean, if there's something you want to see or you have questions, feel free to you know, PM my YouTube account. I get to those whenever I see them and have time. So yeah, I think, yeah, this is the part where her Windows update ran and I was like, huh? Because I was just waiting for her to do her combo so I could try to kill her again. But yeah, that was the draw with Alpha, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.